Okay.
So thank you so much for meeting with me. Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Kate Holthausen. I am Dr. Sears' mother.
And how are you related to Patrick?
Patrick is my grandson.
Awesome. So
As-
tell me a little bit about what you know about Patrick's history as far as school is concerned.
Well, Patrick loves to learn, and there were parts. Oh, I'm sorry. Patrick retains information that he wants to retain.
Okay.
Patrick was extremely excited uh, 2 years ago with the presidential election. And at that point, he became infatuated with American presidents and the Electoral College. And for a then 11-year-old to teach a 67-year-old about the Electoral College, that was quite a shock to me because, and how little I knew. He is, Patrick needs to be in a structured, not in a special classroom, but he needs to have some sort of structure with everything he did.
Okay.
Patrick spent a year in Florida with Dr. Sears, and he was going to school at their school there. It was a charter school, but still it was a school. The teachers were wonderful. I had a chance to meet a lot of his teachers, and Patrick at that time was extremely shy. He wasn't very social. He wasn't socialized a lot as far as with other children. Um, he went to preschool, he went to kindergarten and all that, but he never had like friends come over or anything like that. I don't know if it was discouraged or what that reasoning was.
Mm-hmm.
But when he was in Florida, he had the opportunity and the chances, I guess, he made a lot of friends, and he was excited about those friends, and he was excited about what he was learning and everything like that. Partially because maybe Dr. Sears was the principal at that school and really explained to the teachers what he really needed and really advocated for him. He went in reading at a very low level. He was going into third grade, and he came out reading at the third grade level. So that was pretty amazing for a little boy. Now I don't see Patrick a lot, but when I do see him, I love to spend one-on-one time with him, whether it be playing a game, reading a book, reading a story, any kind of activity where he has to think as well.
Okay.
And what was it? We were playing Connect 4, and he said, well, I have to plan my strategy, Nana. And I said, well, okay, Patrick. And then his strategy was to cheat. And I said, no, that's not a strategy. The strategy is to figure out where I'm going to put my checker in the thing. And he got very frustrated that time, so we ended the game. The next time he came to visit, I said, no, we're going to use strategy, remember? And he played it the correct way.
That's great.
So Patrick needs someone, whether it be a teacher or an aide, to just talk to him almost on a one-on-one thing. Mm-hmm. He knows what he has to do. And I think he gets confused and he sees other kids doing it at a different pace. And I think he gets frustrated. Again, he should not be in any kind of a special ed classroom because he's not that.
I talked with his mom briefly about the differences between types of classrooms, being in a life skills class as opposed to, a class that is, following the curriculum and following, really continuing to learn, and moving towards a more independent lifestyle as opposed to the
Yep.
life skills class, which really is more, working on life skills, which he needs, I feel.
Yeah,
But
right.
he also needs to learn about reading and math and science and social studies
Mm-hmm.
because he
Yep.
really thrives on those things. And when I was
Yep.
talking with Patrick earlier, he mentioned how much he enjoys social studies and how he enjoys learning about the presidents, and he knows which presidents were assassinated, and he knows who the first president was. So he likes to talk about some of those, different pieces, which I really like. When you have Patrick with you, what are some things that you notice Patrick really needs as far as the environment that he's in, as far as structure? Does he need something really structured? Is he able to understand like lots of directions all at once, or does he need stuff like more step by step? How does
As far he needs, when he's with me, and I think probably when he's with his grandfather, we have a more structured thing of what we're doing.
okay?
First, we're going to do this. First, we're going to do this. Patrick gets very confused or doesn't understand why something might change. That something we said we were going to do isn't going to happen. Last year, Patrick is always with me the weekend after Thanksgiving. And it has been the tradition that Patrick and Nana go on a Christmas train ride.
Mm-hmm.
And I moved, so I went to a different train this year, and I pretty much knew where it was and everything. And last year, Patrick was very kind of, well, Patrick, you got to get your shoes on, you've got to do this, and he just kind of was laying on the bed, and so we left late, and we missed the train. And he said, well, why did we miss the train? I said, well, if you had done what I asked you to do, and I don't like to yell at him. I try to be firm. Yelling at a little person doesn't make things any easier.
Mm-hmm.
It makes them almost scared.
Yeah.
I think. And I've always tried with my girls, and Dr. Sears will tell you, I'll give you 3 chances. 1, 2, 3. And if you don't do it by the 3rd time, then I can raise my voice.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I was more of a negotiator, that type of thing. And that's what you have to be with Patrick sometimes.
Okay.
You have to he has to learn to be more flexible, that things aren't always going to go the way that he wants them to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's with everybody, but especially with him. And now I notice this past year, definitely, I talk to Patrick usually once or twice a week, and always on Friday nights.
Mm-hmm.
It's our date. And last year I kept asking him about his friends at school. Well, do you have any friends? Well, no. And what about this? What about that? And this year when he went back to school, I said, well, were you glad to see some of your friends? And he said, yeah, some of them remembered me. So I thought that was a good thing.
Yeah.
He is now getting at the age he's going to be 14, and he has a lot of things going on physically that I, as a parent, grandparent, am very concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
And when I try to express my concern, it's kind of sloughed off and everything. And that's because of the parenting skills of his mother. His mother wanted to have a baby, very much. She wanted to have a baby. She didn't know that baby was going to grow up to be a little person.
Right.
And that happens with a lot of people. They only like the baby age because that's cute, and they smile all the time and blah blah blah. He's going to be 14, and those are the things that I worry about.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But
if you could give a piece of advice to Patrick's teachers, what kind of advice would you give to his teachers?
Once you have explained something to the class of how something is going to go, allow him or encourage him to come up to her or him and ask for another explanation, to
Okay.
explain it a little bit more. I understand this, but, and just give him, don't treat him like he's special. Don't treat him like he's special. But understand that some people don't learn automatically, and he does have an attention span, sometimes of a gnat, and it's like, but most of the time it's pretty good and everything. I, as a grandparent and living in the 21st century, I think cell phones are wonderful, and I think iPads are wonderful, not 24/7.
Right.
And I think that should be something that should be changed. That he definitely shouldn't be doing that, and he's always alone, and that's something that always bothers me. But he is a smart little boy. He's a wonderful little boy. I did notice this time when he was with me, his patience level, not his patience level. Whenever we were going to do something, first of all, there wasn't an argument. And he was much more kinder than he normally is. I don't know what that means. But, and I told him, I said, you know what, Patrick, kindness helps. It makes everyone wants to be happy, and I just thought of something as I was saying that, and it happened with Patrick when he was here. There had been a rainstorm, and which we definitely need, everybody needs, but we were at the grocery store, and when we came out of the parking lot, there was a double rainbow. And I commented on, Patrick, look at that. He's like, man, that's beautiful. And I turned around, everybody was looking at it, and everybody had a smile on their face. And I said, Patrick, look at what a rainbow can do to a lot of people. It just brings you joy. And I think that's basically, I don't think I'd want to raise a child in this century. I don't think I would be able to do it. I probably could if I had to, but I think I did better in the 70s and the 80s, because I think my daughters turned out pretty good, and achieved the goals.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll
see.
We'll see. The other thing is that when Patrick was in his president phase, he wanted to be president. Nana, when I grow up, I'm going to be president. I said, well, can I come to your inauguration? Yes, you can sit in the front row. And then last year he said, well, I'm going to give the teachers another chance. And I said, what? I'm just going to give them one more chance. I said, dude, you got to get through elementary school, then you got to get through high school, and then we really want the president to have an education. And he said, you mean I have to go to school after this? I said, yes. And then he kind of second thought about whether or not he wanted to be president.
He told us today that he wants to be a wrestler.
Yes, this is the big thing. And we now talk every Saturday morning about the wrestling fight, or whatever it's called, on Friday nights. And I watched the wrong one this week, because it was on Tuesday night, and someone ripped me a new piece of my anatomy.
I'm sure.
Because I did that. Yeah,
I'm sure.
But I think any child that has the ability, I don't want to use the word disability, that has a learning issue, okay? I think number one, patience has got to be number one. And don't give up on the child. Because I think many kids were just slept off, and you can't do that. They are, as someone told me when Dr. Sears was a baby, and they had a little girl, and we were at their house, and her father looked at me and he said, you know what those are? And I said, yeah, they're babies. He said, no, those are little people growing up. No, big people growing up. And it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
I'm
thank
proud
you.
of him. I'm proud of him, and I know he will do great things.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Your time
You're very
today.
welcome.
I'm going to
Okay.
pause my video.
Okay.